The convention hall will come to order. We are now holding the 6th general session of the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. Mr. Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Station by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
USA! USA! USA!
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people, in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands, and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is a token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
There are 67,459 members and guests registered, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes, I now declare this 6th session of the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. The chair of our next session comes from a side of the country that I know and love. An Oregonian with as much energy as a rebel from his state's favorite coffee shop, Dutch Bros, I can always count on him to hype me up and crack a joke. One of my favorite memories with him is having deep life talks while practicing backflips on the Florida coast. Fun fact about him is he could literally live in a hot tub, like all day, every single day. Please join me in welcoming to the stage my teammate that knows West is best, Shea Boo Boo, our Western Region Vice President, Shea Booster.
How are we all feeling tonight? Woo! I'm going off script for a second because they brought Buffalo Bill. Let's hear it for Buffalo Bill. Woo! All right, now back to our regular scheduled program. In my family, sports are the foundation of our lives. Weeknights were spent bouncing from practice to practice, while weekends were consumed with trips back and forth across the state of Oregon. When it comes to sports, my family's pretty invested. And to be honest, they're all studs. And I say they for a reason. Both of my parents, my older sister Maddie and her husband, played sports in college, while my older brother Connor and his wife coach high school basketball together. But my brother's wife also played collegiate basketball, so I guess if you can't play college sports, Connor, you might as well marry into it, huh? And then there's my little sister, who this past summer, in between her 7th and 8th grade year of middle school, started for our high school summer ball varsity basketball team. Yeah, go Casey. So when I say studs, I mean they're studs. In sports, they have what is called the starting lineup. These are the players that get off the bench. They actually see the court or the field. They get to play the sport that they actually signed up for. It's kind of weird. Now, if my family had a starting lineup, they would get all of the playing time, and I'd be bringing them water from the bench. Let's hear it for bench warmers, yeah. Wait, I'm not the only one that's not a stud athlete? Good to know. Now, bench warming, I consider it an art, all right? And Ridge talked about art all last 2 days ago, whatever it was. Ridge talked a lot about art, and I think sports is an art, but I think bench warming is an art. Yeah, I do. You gotta keep the water cold, but you can't keep it too cold. They gotta be able to drink it. You gotta keep a seat open for the best players, close enough to the coach that they can hear, but far enough away that they can dismiss anything they don't want to hear. But the most important job of a bench warmer is to cheer for, to root on, and to celebrate the success of others. Tonight, we will have the opportunity to celebrate the success of many individuals, starting with those that are the finalists for our leadership development events. We will then hear the retiring address of our Central Region National Vice President, Ridge Eubanks. Afterwards, we will host our Stars Over America ceremony before rounding out the night with another keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, if tonight was a sporting event, I mean, look around. It's only fitting that it would be a Super Bowl. So let's get on our feet, get ready for the 6th general session of the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. Due to the fact that I spent most of my sporting career on the bench, I became a huge fan of abstract sports. Now, when I'm talking about abstract sports, I'm talking about cornhole, I'm talking about curling, I'm talking about extreme ironing. Y'all haven't heard of extreme ironing? It's simple. Scale a mountain with your favorite ironing board. Or maybe not. Oh, there it is. Or skydive. Maybe my favorite, dress like James Bond and sink yourself waist deep in the Arctic. Extreme ironing, it's how you make laundry fun. Now the next members to cross this stage today are dressed even nicer than our friend in the snow, but they've also conquered America's #1 fear, which isn't skydiving and it's not scaling a mountain, it's public speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our Creed speaking finalists.
The Creed Speaking Leadership Development event is sponsored by Fieldale Farms Corporation and Kubota Tractor Corporation. Third runner-up, Lily Papool from Trigg County FFA of Kentucky. Second runner-up, Caleb Horn from Morrison FFA of Oklahoma. First runner-up, Alex Kindig from South Newton FFA of Indiana. The 2019 National Creed Speaking winner is Isabella Albiani from Elk Grove FFA of California. Congratulations to all of our Creed speakers.
Another classic abstract sport is poker. Now, I'm not talking about the World Series of poker, the poker that they allow on TV. I'm talking about back alley poker, the kind of poker where you break your kneecaps, the kind of poker where the stakes are real, that if you lose, you might run into these guys in an alleyway. Well, you didn't run into anyone because you actually won the game. But the reason that I love poker is because it's so challenging. It's so complex. There's so many variations of the game. You know, you have to constantly be thinking on your feet to what to do next. Now, our next members to cross this stage are some of the most informed members our organization has to offer. They can quickly develop and present speeches on many topics. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our extemp speaking finalists.
The Extemporaneous Public Speaking Contest is sponsored by the American Farm Bureau Federation, Invenergy, and Nationwide Foundation. Third runner-up, Talon Anderson from Rigby FFA of Idaho. Second runner-up, Xana Tyndall from Midway FFA of North Carolina. First runner-up, Macy Fetchel from Vista Ridge FFA of Texas. The 2019 National Extemporaneous Public Speaking winner is Emma Poole from the Durant FFA of Florida. Congratulations to all of our extemporaneous public speakers.
An abstract sport that is absolutely dominating the sporting landscape is esports. Video games and those who play them professionally are insanely popular. You know, some professional video game players make over $500,000 a month and play in stadiums just like this. Now, I don't know who is in charge or where I should be applying, but if you're out there, my name is Shea Booster, and I'm ready to make my Super Smash Bros. Debut anytime. Yeah, should we do it right now? I think this is as good a time as ever. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the state president of Nebraska, Cooper Yalnick. So as Cooper comes to the stage, I'm going to explain. For those of us who don't know what Super Smash Bros., it's pretty simple. Cooper and I are each going to have one life. We're going to fight each other till one of us is left standing. The winner gets all the fame in the world. The loser gets none of it. If you want Cooper to win, let him hear you. That sounds a little bit loud for just Nebraska. If you want me to win, let me hear you. Oh, let's do this. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, what did we do? Oh! Take it! This gorilla doesn't like you, Cooper. Oh! Ah! Let's give Cooper one more round of applause. Man, after a game like that, I'm ready for an interview. And if I ever do get an interview, these next individuals are going to be my first call. Let's put our hands together for the finalists in employment skills.
The Employment Skills LDE is sponsored by Arista Life Science North America Corporation and CSX. Third runner-up, Claire Stevenson from Hobson FFA of Montana. Second runner-up, Brooke Hoffbeck from Cedar Mountain FFA of Minnesota. First runner-up, Lauren Roberts from Trenton FFA of Florida. The 2019 National Employment Skills winner is Abby Dorhauer from Yelm FFA of Washington. Congratulations to our Employment Skills finalists.
One of my favorite abstract sports always will be cornhole. Good old-fashioned cornhole. This year, you could often find me either trying to convince someone to play with me or watching the ACAs, which for those of you who aren't real cornhole lovers, that's the American Cornhole Association, and it's must-watch. It's must-watch TV. It's awesome. Now, the reason I'm so obsessed with cornhole is professional players are incredible. It's the same toss, same result almost every time. It all comes down to them being incredibly prepared for the shift of the corn inside the bag upon its impact on the board. Now, our next members to cross this stage are always consistent, and they're just as prepared. Let's meet our finalists for the Prepared Public Speaking, good thing they can talk, the Prepared Public Speaking Leadership Development Event.
The Prepared Public Speaking event is sponsored by Bayer. Third runner-up, Casey Williams from Greenbrier FFA of Arkansas. Second runner-up, Kylie Whitworth from Madison County FFA of Georgia. First runner-up, Jonah Siemens from Cheyenne Frontier FFA of Wyoming. The 2019 National Prepared Public Speaking winner is Martha Manning from Triton FFA of Minnesota. Congratulations to our prepared public speakers, and congratulations to all of our Leadership Development Event Award winners.
Actions speak louder than words, and together we can change the world. We are the FFA.
4 years ago, we were both elected to serve on the same state officer team with Ridge. Little did we know that that would become the very beginning of the best friendship we've ever had.
You see, 3 years ago, we decided to take a spontaneous weekend trip to the ocean. Now, we probably should have been studying or preparing for convention, but we decided we needed to see the beach.
2 years ago, we took another outlandish trip and we went cross-country, loaded up in a truck, 15 days. We went from the Grand Canyon to Los Angeles to Death Valley and a million places in between.
1 year ago, we watched with proud tears as our best friend was selected for the opportunity of a lifetime.
Now we are here with all of you celebrating the culmination of a year of service for one of the greatest men that we know.
We may have gone through some of our biggest moments with Ridge over the past 4 years, but it's the seemingly insignificant times that make Ridge truly special. You see, it's the random dinner, the well-placed joke, or the late-night conversation that makes a friendship with Ridge worthwhile.
Ridge has the uncanny ability to make whoever he's talking to feel like the most important person in the world, all the while challenging you to rise up and to become the best version of yourself possible. I know that neither of us would be the men that we are today if we hadn't first met Ridge so many years ago.
Proverbs 27:11 teaches us, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Rich has been that iron, not only for us, but for every person he meets, making us all better and sharper people.
He is our teammate.
He is our friend.
He is our brother.
Your
National Central Region Vice President, Rich Eubanks.
I'm a hard-working man. I wear a steel hard hat. I can ride rope, hammer and paint.
Wow. The only evening session of convention. Pretty incredible. I know that there were a lot of places that we all could have ended up tonight, but know that I am extremely grateful that we are all here in this moment right now. I mean, think about how awkward it would have been if I would have walked out and this whole place would have been empty. So no, from the bottom of my heart, I'm extremely glad y'all are here. All right, enough of that. Let's get to work. You know, I'm looking out in the delegate section right now, and I'm seeing bright, I'm seeing shiny, I'm seeing excitable faces. Yeah. And I'm seeing not so bright and shiny. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Right there. You, yeah. Smile. You're on national television. Well, I mean, like maybe you weren't, but now you definitely are. Now we are at national convention. What do you say? What do you say we just take the evening and this limited time we have together and relax and enjoy ourselves? Does that sound all right? Can we all do that? Awesome. I don't know about y'all, but it's Friday of convention. Who in here is tired? Oh my gosh. Seems like everybody's tired these days. Or at least it appears that way. I mean, have you noticed how no matter who you ask how they're doing, you'll usually get told, I am so tired. But what does that even mean? You know, because tired used to mean, I think I'm gonna go to sleep. There was literally a time in our lives where we could fall asleep anywhere, at any given moment. Maybe that's still you. Now, I was looking around when I was with the chorus earlier, and I know some of y'all have been practicing that skill during this session. Just kidding. But seriously, we are all tired. To prove the point, let's try this. Who here is tired of going to school? Okay. Well, who here is tired of doing chores? Who here is tired of having their name mispronounced? Parents and teachers in the room, how many of y'all are tired from hearing from your students about how tired they are? Wow, that was resounding. Who in here is just tired? Well, that's fair enough, because as it turns out, y'all, tired is global. No matter what landmass you point to on this globe, you are going to find tired people. And while being tired is global, the whole concept of actually being tired can vary from person to person. We all have different definitions in our minds of what being tired actually looks like. For me, I go all the way back to my first ever state FFA convention when I think about being tired. Now, think back to your first convention, whether it was at the state or national level. Memories. Just out of curiosity, how many of y'all in here tonight are first-time attendees to the national FFA convention? What a crew. Well, for my first state FFA convention experience, I go back to my freshman year of high school when I was selected to be a member of the Oklahoma State FFA Convention Chorus. Now, the view on stage is a little different. You are constantly rehearsing, traveling, and expected to perform at the highest level attainable, all at a moment's notice. Does that sound about right? Right. All right. Yeah, you hear that? All those late nights, early mornings, and constant performances eventually led one member of the chorus to pipe up at our choir director. Mr. Kingma! I am so tired. Y'all know that person? That person who's always talking about how tired they are? Yeah. You know how it usually goes over, right? Well, Mr. Kingma, rather than let that person be that person, handled the situation in a way that I will never forget. All right, everybody, hey, quiet down, listen here. Everybody look right here. Now, I've been hearing some grumblings from the chorus, and apparently some of us are tired. So I figure I probably better set the record straight. You see, the world is run by people who are tired. Anybody who's doing anything worthwhile is bound to be exhausted. So get used to it. All right? Good. Now, let's get to work. Clap for Mr. Kingman, not for that. Let's think about that for a second. The world is run by people who are tired. Think of the hardest working person that you know. The mechanic in their shop, the executive in their office, the farmer in the field, everyone is tired. But nowadays, it almost seems like tired isn't so much a physical thing. Nowadays, there are literally people who get exhausted trying to get more likes on the Instagram. It's as though we are no longer tired from things, but like we're tired of things. Now, there's a huge difference here. You see, when we are tired from something, that means we had to exert an effort in order to reach a state of exhaustion. When we're tired of something, that's more of an emotional tired. That's a wearing away that makes us anxious or irritable. So why might this distinction matter? According to the National Institute for Mental Health, over 25% of students in the United States suffer from anxiety disorders. Y'all, that is 1 out of every 4 students in the entire nation. But even more, same institute, different study, found that over 3 million students ages 12 to 17 have had at least one major depression episode in the last year. There are people that we know and care about who are fighting the battle against anxiety and depression. There are people in this stadium tonight who are a part of this battle. There's a good chance, by sheer numbers alone, that one of the people making up one of these statistics is sitting next to you right now. Or maybe the person fighting this fight is sitting in your seat. To those who are anxious or depressed or worried about the future, please hear me when I say this. We do not get to choose what happens to us in this life. But we do get to decide how we will respond to it. And you see, we are in charge of our futures by choosing how we will respond to our present. Now, anxiety and depression, y'all, these are major issues that carry extremely heavy burdens. Everyone copes in their own way. But these are just some of the ways that I've found that have helped me overcome those hard times. You see, there is a direct way to overcome those challenges that we face. And sometimes we have to look back in order to move forward. Now, when we're told to study history, what comes to mind? Some of us think, duh, Ridge, history class in school. All right, so maybe history class in school. Some of us might think our family history. Some of us might just think old. Well, I have come to find this year that some people think I'm old. I kid you not. This year I've been called things like Grandpa Ridge, old man of the team. When I traveled as a national officer, more often than not, I'd get asked what school I taught at. So what if I still carry a pocket calendar? So what if I don't Venmo my Starbucks mocha frappuccino with room? So what if I still prefer to write checks? You know what? I'm kind of proud of being a little old-fashioned. But don't mishear me. Old-fashioned does not mean that I smell like your grandparents' house. You know what I'm talking about. There is an extremely distinct smell to our grandparents' homes. It's kind of hard to explain, but you know it when you smell it. Yeah, that's not what I mean by old-fashioned. What I mean is there is power in looking to old things for wisdom. Anybody else just try to find their advisors just now? Now, advisors, we give you a hard time and tell you you're old all the time, but let me plead the case. You are the wise old owls we're told to look to for wisdom. It's in the opening ceremonies. Just saying. Seriously, you guys, there is so much power in looking to our past, gleaning the knowledge that they have learned and applying it to our lives in pursuit of that brighter future that we seek. One of those things in my life that I turn to when I find myself in a difficult situation is a poem called Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And it goes a little bit like this. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet, the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Don't you wish people still talk like that? So what does Invictus teach us? Y'all, when the going gets tough, leaders know how to dig in. It starts with making the decision and having the mindset that I am stronger. I can make it through. I will overcome. When adversity strikes, leaders don't ask, why me? They dig in, find an extra gear, and say, let's get to work. You see, we do not get to choose what happens to us in this life. But if we will show resiliency in the face of hardship, we find that things are never quite as bad as they may seem. Sometimes the answer is as simple as removing the distractions from our lives that emotionally make us tired of things. Sometimes the answer is as simple as turning off the TV, putting our phones down for a second, taking a deep breath, and then committing ourselves to a pursuit, which emotionally will leave us fulfilled, but physically might leave us tired. You see, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. When hardships strike, start working. But I know what some of y'all are thinking. All right, Rocky Balboa, we hear what you're saying. Work harder, put our phones away, be better, yeah. We've heard all this before. But how does this actually play out in my life? And that's fair enough. But if we'll all be honest with ourselves for a second, sometimes we need help finding that extra gear. And sometimes asking for help is the hardest part. If we think about why we're all here tonight, it's largely due to the efforts of someone else. We are all here because someone has helped us. And you know what? A little help every now and then can give us the strength that we didn't even know we needed to make it through even the toughest of times. One of the greatest gifts I ever received came my senior year of high school. And y'all, let me tell you, it had been a week. I mean, y'all know the type. I mean, there were plenty of assignments and tests for literally every class. My to-do list for show choir, FFA, student council was out of the room. I basically felt like I had time for everybody else but myself. And to top it all off, I'd played in the last football game of my entire career the Friday night before. I remember being surrounded by people and yet still feeling alone. One night when I was getting ready for bed, my dad came in and set something down on my dresser. I looked into his eyes and I could see that he was pretty proud of it. I told him I thought it was awesome. You know, one of those words we say when we don't really want to have to think of something else to say, and we really don't want to share how we actually feel. Y'all, this globe is awesome, but not just because of the way it looks. You see, I very seldom see my father cry. He took this globe and he handed it to me. And as he did, tears started rolling down his cheeks. He looked me straight in the face with a voice low and firm, and he said, "Ridge, the world is yours. You can do anything that you set your mind to. I bought you this globe because I never want you to forget that you can do it. And you've got a lot of people behind you that love you and want to see you do it." A simple globe to tell me the world is yours. You see, the world does not owe us anything, but we owe it to ourselves and everyone else around us to go out and make the world a better place, one day at a time, through our efforts. My father told me the world was mine through a globe, a simple token that became an incredible reminder. I'm here to tell you that the world is yours. In fact, the world is ours. Now, I don't have globes for every person in here, but we all sit here right now wearing a simple reminder: this blue and gold jacket. You see, when we wear this jacket, we have the support we need to pull ourselves up and get to work. But even more, in this blue and gold jacket, we have a community of people around us that remind us that we are never alone. They pick us up when we're down, help us find that extra gear, and help us to accomplish things that we never would have envisioned for ourselves. Y'all, the world is run by tired people, especially the tired people in the blue and gold jacket. After one of the most humbling years of my life, if I've learned one thing, it is this: I like tired. I know what goes into being tired. I know that progress comes from the struggles of former years. Tired means something is going to be accomplished. FFA members, I like you. I like your willingness to be tired because I know that means you're willing to put in the work, and something is most certainly going to be accomplished. Life is hard. Everyone is tired. So let's get to work.
I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin-found Dixie whistle in the wind that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country. We turn the dirt.
Woo! Ridge, you're a true Oklahoman. Usually equipped with your cowboy hat and starched jeans. You've walked headfirst into every situation we've been given this year. You've taught us to be strong and steadfast in whatever we pursue. Your taste for the classics, you old man, and your vast knowledge on literally everything has encouraged us to think deeply about the past, but strive for a better future. We love you, buddy. As much as you love the daily soup, a book, and your trusty pocket calendar. This year you provided us with some fierce competition, immense laughter, and some well-timed vocals. Keep chasing severe storms and caffeinating with black coffee. Stay golden. Luke, Jordan, Lainey, Adrian, and Shebu. Ladies and gentlemen, your Central Region National Vice President, Mr. Ridge Hillbanks!
Sunrise sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin-found Dixie whistle in the wind that'll get you heaven.
Actions speak louder than words. Got to put in that work. Where are you making us turn? And together we can change the world. We are the FFA.
Man, now if you've seen me play sports, doesn't matter what sport, I tend to get mildly competitive. Just mildly. I mean, I did just trash talk Coop in front of like 20,000 people. But it's just mild competitiveness. Okay, it's very competitive. But regardless, nothing gets me more in the zone for competition than music. Playing the right song at the right time could be the difference between success and failure. Playing the right song. Oh my gosh! I feel great! Does anybody else feel like you can run through a wall with this? I feel like I could run through a wall when I hear that song. If only there was a wall. Are they bringing out a wall? You guys want to see me run through this wall? I said, do you want to see me run through this wall? You better strap that bad boy in. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
But the wrong song.
I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you.
Makes you feel like I'd lose in a fight to a mouse. Now, I know I'm small. I'm just not that. I'm not that small. Luckily, while we're here at convention, we got a band that's going to be playing the right songs at the right time to keep us pumped up and entertained. So let's welcome to the stage, under the direction of Mr. Spencer White and sponsored by Corteva Agri-Science, the National FFA Band!
Hello, FFA. My name is Hannah Rosefoot, and I am a proud member of the Cobleskill Richmondville chapter and the Empire State of New York. This is a medley that's going to make you want to get up and dance. Enjoy as the 2019 National FFA Band performs a high-energy mashup of You Can't Stop the Beat, Uptown Funk, and a favorite tune that needs no introduction.
love you too. I can't see you, but I love you too. Now, the reason that I love abstract sports is because it gives people who, like me, lack the physique of an NBA star a chance at chasing stardom. Having a check mark by your name on Twitter, making ridiculous amounts of money, and being hailed a star, whew, that's the dream of many. The National FFA Stars Over America program recognizes members who are nothing less than the future Hall of Famers of FFA. These members have set themselves apart by challenging themselves and by developing an incredible passion for the agricultural industry. These members are ensuring that the future of agriculture is bright. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our star finalists.
My SAE started in 2013 after I took over my parents' family business that was a perfect timing pig sale. I began to use social media as a huge marketing tool and starting to grow our business platform and make it my own. In 2014, 2015, I brought Walton Webcasting in, which played a key role in help advertise the animals at the sale there as a broader audience online as we webcasted the sale live. So as a manager's role of the pig sale, I work day in and day out by contacting consigners and breeders about coming to the sale and what animals they will be bringing to us. It is very important that we keep the sale as a high-profile sale. An SAE that started out in 2013 has throughout my high school career grown and given me more opportunities and to turn it into an actual business and other events that I've been able to put on, and it's something that I'm very passionate about and being able to grow into a complete marketing business today.
Please join me in congratulating Blake Kennedy.
My SAE began in 2015, where I started out doing just floral designs for people in my area. And then eventually it grew to doing landscape and interior designs for other people around. And word of mouth just grew and it got bigger and bigger. All right, so the boxwoods over here, you know. Yes. Within my business, landscape and interior design, we do both commercial and residential work. And then for floral design, we do a lot of big events, weddings, and celebrations for clients all over the Georgia area. However, I have been out of state to the White House to design for Christmas in 2017, where I got to meet the head landscape architecture of the White House, the chief designer of floral design in the White House. It really encouraged me in my major in college to do landscape architecture. My end goal for this is to eventually designing landscapes on golf courses throughout the East Coast, placement of trees, shrubs, ornamental grasses along the golf course itself and buildings within the golf course.
Let's congratulate Haddon Powell.
My SAE is a twofold enterprise consisting of Premier Livestock Services as well as Champion Show Supply. I began my Premier Livestock Services when I was a freshman in high school. I began custom fitting and clipping service to local producers around the county, as well as began to travel nationwide, helping prepare cattle for sales as well as livestock shows. You found everything all right then? Yep. As I grew my clientele with Premier Livestock Services, I then saw a need for show supplies in our local community as well as state. Therefore, I secured a contract with Sullivan Supply, becoming a master dealer. I would like to thank my parents and advisors for all the help that they have given along the way. Thank you.
Let's congratulate Blake Quiggins.
My SAE of LS custom application involves applying pesticides to field crops for local farmers. I first tackled a niche market with an ATV sprayer I purchased off of a retiring farmer that allowed me to get out in the fields and spray when the local cooperatives could not spray because it was too wet for their big machines. I did that for a few years, and then I moved on to purchasing a self-propelled rogator sprayer, which allows me to better serve my clientele because I can cover more acres in an hour and be more efficient and wait till the proper crop timing and soil conditions to apply the pesticides to ensure maximum efficiency and minimal impact on the farmer's fields. My first year with just my ATV sprayer, I sprayed for one customer about 300 acres. This last year I was able to spray for a total of 6 customers and operate over 3,000 acres, which I plan to grow in the years to come and hopefully achieve a goal of 6,000 or 7,000 acres a year coverage.
Join me in congratulating Luke Scott. The 2019 American Star in Agribusiness is Blake Kennedy from Oklahoma. Blake Kennedy knows using technology and social media to market his pig sale is a huge reason he reaches more people. Blake's advice for FFA members starting their SAEs is simple: be different. He says it's important to realize that no one's the same. An SAE can be over whatever you're doing. Give it your all and seek advice. Congratulations, Blake Kennedy, 2019 American Star in Agribusiness.
This next group of members have excelled in their work-based experiences in an agriculturally related job. They've developed skills and technical knowledge to the point that they are career-ready professionals who continually display what doing to learn means. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our finalists nominated for American Star in Agricultural Placement.
My SAE is Diversified Livestock and Beef Placement. Throughout my SAE, I have worked multiple jobs. My first and longest job is working at Harder Hereford Ranch. I've learned how to pair, sort out, doctor, brand, and also gather and move cattle to different pastures. I've also worked in Davenport, Washington at Stockland Livestock Inc., bringing cows out of the sale pen and taking them to the back pens for buyers to come and look at after they have bought them or to help load them onto trailers. Then during the summer, I have helped work in Spokane, Washington for the Spokane County Working Ranch Horse Clinic, and that is a week long roughly in the middle of the summer, working kids anywhere between the ages of 8 to 18, work on their horsemanship skills and cattle skills. My future plans are to come back to the main ranch, Harder Hereford Ranch, when I'm a little bit older and hopefully work alongside my mom a little bit longer, and then in the end take it over and manage it myself.
Join me as we congratulate Nicole Harder.
I'm a custom harvester. We start in Texas. It takes about 5 months. We work our way all the way up to Idaho. We cut wheat, corn, soybeans, and just harvest crops for other farmers. Long hours. We can put in anywhere from 70 to 100 hours a week. I've been driving a combine since I was 9 years old, and it's just what I love to do. I have some management responsibilities. I sample every field, make sure the moisture is correct. Every morning I create a game plan for everybody, make sure all the equipment is properly maintained, make sure everybody is working in a timely manner because we work with a perishable crop. And just talking to customers and making sure they're happy with our quality of work. My goal is to eventually become the boss of Riggin Farms and just continue to grow the business, keep getting more customers, and just keep doing a good quality job.
Join me in congratulating Cole Riggin.
I got started with my SAE on my family farm that's been in my family for over 100 years now. Streff Farms includes both corn and soybean rotation. With this, I was involved in every single aspect of the family farm. Tillage in the spring, planting, spraying, and of course harvest in the fall, and everything in between. Along with this, I also have been involved with 2 different internships after high school. My first one, I worked for the local cooperative where I served as a crop scout and helped manage 16 different test plots. Following that summer, I worked in an internship with Precision Ag Technology where I serviced growers and helped them make management decisions while still remaining economical throughout the entire summer. All 3 of these helped me improve my education within the agricultural industry so I can hopefully go back to our family farm someday.
Join me as we congratulate Andrew Streff.
I work on wind farms, which is a 2,500 farrow to wean swine operation, as well as a 50-head commercial cow-calf pair operation. I began working on the farm as a paid employee in the 7th grade, where my duties were cleaning and sanitizing, record keeping, feeding, moving and sorting swine, as well as repairing fence and other tasks such as that. Over the years, I've progressed to being able to complete all aspects of running this operation from start to finish, such as artificial insemination in cattle and swine, ultrasounding sows to check for pregnancies, and processing piglets, as well as processing cattle. Upon graduation, I plan to return to the farm and work as a full-time employee, where I hope to implement skills I learned in school to help the farm become more sustainable and efficient.
Join me in congratulating Murdoch Wynn. The 2019 American Star in Agricultural Placement is Andrew Streff from South Dakota. Through working on the family farm and internship experiences, Andrew Streff has grown in his knowledge about agriculture. Andrew says, every day is a learning experience, and FFA really emphasized that you can take advantage of a learning experience in a work environment. Congratulations, Andrew Streff, 2019 American Star in Agricultural Placement.
Talented young people who are passionate about using their science-based knowledge to create solutions for our industry and our world are a hot commodity. These members are tackling some major challenges head-on in the laboratory. Let's meet our finalists nominated for American Star in Agri-Science.
My first research SAE investigated rapid retort pressure cooling. Then, over 4 years, I conducted research on tobacco mosaic virus, specifically looking at a control and preventative. Once I arrived at the University of Georgia, I immediately dove into research where I studied plant systems. I studied Neophysococcum, Fusarium oxysporium basinfectum, and now I'm conducting research on phony peach. We had a very large issue of trying to get infection to occur in our samples. We were able to conduct a review of literature where we found an actual inoculation kit, which allowed for us to infect our samples while also allowing us to look at even more variables than we could previously. As an agri-science researcher, you're a problem solver, but you're also a communicator. You have to take all that research, get it out to the public, to the farmer, to the consumer, and make it matter. I plan to serve the agricultural industry by being a plant pathologist.
Join me in congratulating Courtney Cameron.
My SAE is comprised of 4 different intertwining facets: soil testing, manure management, N-Watch, and a nitrogen trial plot. I grew up on a large hog farm where I started helping with manure application and taking soil samples in the field. I've also utilized cover crops, nitrogen stabilizers, wide drop application, and variable rates of nitrogen, and these have all helped me decrease the amount of nitrogen on my farm by 26%. None of this would have been possible without all the help and collaboration I've gotten from my local ag community.
Let's congratulate Casey Haig.
My SAE started my freshman year of high school when I decided to do an agri-science fair project for the FFA competition. My research focused on the broad areas of nutrition and biotechnology, starting off with a project in mouse nutrition, and then creating a project for my sophomore year on duck cell culture. From there, I transitioned more into food science and started a project on peanut allergies and how peanuts are processed. I also did a project on fish genetics, and once I got to college, got a job in a research lab where I was able to apply those skills of cell culture and immunology and work with more cell culture looking at gut nutrition. I really have appreciated the opportunity to get involved with so much agri-science research, and I am a 2019 Star in Agri-Science finalist.
Let's congratulate Amelia Hayden.
Growing up surrounded by honeybees on a small farm here in Chillicothe, Ohio, I was always interested in the problems that they were facing and the issues that were surrounding honeybees, and that made me interested in conducting multiple research studies on what I could do to help solve those problems. And so I was able to look at the pollen that was present or absent in honey, and between store-bought honey and locally produced honey, even using my honey as a sample. And beyond that, I was even able to look at issues that were facing honeybees over the winter here in Ohio, as we have such cold winters, and insulation that could benefit them and help them be more successful for the spring. And then eventually, knowing that I wanted to educate people about agriculture, I looked at how I could educate my classmates and my community about issues that were facing honeybees and even changes that they could make at their home or in their communities.
Join me in congratulating Olivia Flommer. The 2019 American Star in Agri-Science is Courtney Cameron from Georgia. Courtney Cameron said that her research helped me find a purpose. Doing research that has a positive impact on farmers is what fuels her passion. Courtney wants to make a future in agriculture, conducting research and communicating that science with others. Congratulations, Courtney Cameron, 2019 American Star in Agri-Science.
This next group of members have worked tirelessly over many years as they pursue a career in production agriculture. They've stood out in their supervised agricultural experiences and have truly reached the pinnacle achievement in our organization. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our American Star Farmer finalists.
My SAE began as a freshman in high school when I became a part owner in my family's wheat and straw operation. This gave me a taste for production agriculture and showed me that it was something I wanted to explore some more. I was able to do exactly that when I came to an agreement to rent an abandoned 7-acre pasture and quickly cleaned it up and planted it in my first crop of soybeans. In the years since then, I've continued to grow, and now I farm 333 acres of corn, soybeans, and wheat. FFA has been an instrumental part of my life. It's really helped make me who I am today. Before I was in FFA, I really didn't want to be involved in agriculture. I didn't want to come home to the family farm, but through my experiences in high school and just in FFA in general, changed my perspective. I want to come home and farm. Looking forward to the future, I hope to continue to grow my operation, and upon graduating from Ohio State University with a degree in agribusiness and agronomy, I hope to return to the family farm and make our operation the best it can be.
Let's congratulate Todd Peterson.
My SAE started off with wheat and a cow. Now I've moved on to growing soybeans and corn. And now I grow soybeans, corn, have about 4 cows, have some hogs. I also run an excavating company and do custom combining. With all my SAEs, they keep me really busy, from going and checking the cows in the afternoons and feeding the pigs in the morning, to going and raking hay and baling hay and swathing hay in the afternoons when the dew comes off, to combining from morning to night during harvest time, and planting from morning to night during planting time. Keeps you real busy when you have a farm about 500 acres, then half corn and half soybeans. You can drive around and look at them and spend about a whole day just checking out all your fields. Plan to farm pretty much till the day I die.
Let's congratulate Garrett Talcott.
My SAE consists of 3 different areas: corn production, bean production, and beef cattle production. My freshman year, I started off with 14 Hereford cattle, and with a lot of hard work and determination, I was able to grow that number to 22 by my senior year. My freshman year, I started off with 20 acres of corn and beans both, and with a lot of help from my parents and a lot of hard work, I was able to grow that to 100 acres my senior year. I would like to thank my ag advisors and my parents for giving me this opportunity, and I would also like to thank the FFA for giving me all these great life skills that I've earned through their awesome organization. Thanks.
Join me in congratulating Nicholas Torrance.
I have 600 does and 20 bucks. They're commercial goats that I raise for meat to sell all over the state of California. My current day-to-day, managing for the well-being of the goat, making sure proper nutrition and taking care of the goat and checking them in pastures, make sure they have feed. And I also have forage. I make oat hay, wheat hay, and forage mix hay and sedan hay, just not only to feed my goats, but also to sell to other cattlemen in the local area. And so my day-to-day would be, irrigating if it's irrigated crop or the dry farm ground. Right now I'm preparing to start tillage and plant my crop here in about a month for the winter rains to come through. My future plans are to be able to be totally vertically integrated with my project, from raising my own feed to breeding my own goat and being able to process that goat that I raise and be able to put it directly on the consumer shelves in the local grocery store. That's my future plan and will be happening in the near future.
Join me as we congratulate Willis Wolf. The 2019 American Star Farmer is Willis Wolf from California. Willis Wolf raises hay, forage, and goats. Even though his family's operation isn't known for goats, he wanted to learn about a new kind of livestock. His advice to FFA members starting their SAE is to always ask for help, just like he did. Willis says, talk to your ag teacher and let them know you want to do something. They're always willing to help. Congratulations, Willis Wolf, 2019 American Star Farmer.
Let's bring our Stars Over America out one more time to congratulate them on their accomplishments. These These members will be some of the leaders that change the world by developing and conveying their passions. They have chosen not to settle, but rather to seek improvement for themselves, their communities, and our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, our stars over America.
The American star in agribusiness, Blake Kennedy. The American star in agricultural placement, Andrew Streff. American star in agriscience, Courtney Cameron. And the American star farmer, Willis Wolf. These individuals have truly believed they can be the future of agriculture and can help agriculture remain relevant through their supervised agricultural experiences. Join me again in giving our American Star Award winners one more round of applause.
Our next abstract sport might just be the most abstract. So abstract, in fact, I named it myself. I call it a cappella running. I don't know why you're laughing, right? That's not nice. All right, now, a cappella running, it's not the same as just going on a jog and listening to your favorite music. In order to a cappella run, you have to run at insanely fast speeds while singing very loudly. It better trains your lungs. Now, you're probably wondering one of two things. One, is this real? Yes, I wouldn't lie to you. Two, what does it look like in real time? Well, let me limber up first. I hurt myself going through that wall. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do this. Y'all, I can't sing like you. Every time I try, Ridge tells me I'm flat, and I hate running. So we're not going to be witnessing any a cappella running today. But if you're lucky, and I mean like if you're lucky, maybe I'll do a couple of laps back and forth across the stage as this next group performs. Please help me welcome to the stage, under the direction of Miss Christy Britton and sponsored by Corteva Agri-Science, the National FFA Chorus.
Hello, FFA. My name is Trinity Gambika, and I'm from the great Cornhusker state of Nebraska. I can't imagine a better place or group of people to have a party with. Can you? So let's all party in the FFA, featuring soloist Paige Peterson from South Dakota and Jenna Spangler from Illinois.
With my dream and my corduroy, hoping for a week of big success. Will I find a group to join? Hopped in the cab, here I go for the first time. Look to my right and I see the FFA sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turns on the radio. And a Garth Brooks song was on. And a Garth Brooks song was on. And a Garth Brooks song was on. So put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. So put my hands up to play my song. It's all gonna be okay. Yeah.
Another abstract sport that our whole team had some experience with this past year was trapezing. Take a look. Not bad, huh? Well, if you could see what they can do without support lines, it's not very good either. In all honesty, without Al and Jim there cheering us on from down below, none of us would have ventured up the ladder. Except, of course, Adrienne. That gal's a daredevil. She'll do anything for like $1 or a donut. But in all fairness, it all came down to Jim and Al's success as motivators. Luckily for those of us here tonight, our next speaker is just as inspirational. She uses her real-life experiences to illustrate the battle we fight against fear. She believes that the enemy of success isn't failure, it's comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, let's help welcome our keynote speaker, Miss Michelle Poehler.
Oh, my song! What happened? You guys, we need my song because we were all going to dance, right? You see? All right, we need to try this again. Let's see. There we go! Come on! Oh no, I don't know what's happening, but that was fun, right? All right. Okay, so let's see. Where do I go from here? We were supposed to finish my song. I was going to ask you if that was a little bit awkward, but you would have said no, right? Because, I mean, that was really fun. You know, I do this at corporate events. I go out dancing, and people look at me like, what is she doing? Like, why is she dancing? And please someone dance with her. So I'm here to talk about the comfort zone, and the idea was for no one to dance. But you guys are super fun and pretty brave, so thank you for that. Thank you for joining me. And hopefully from here, the sound works and all of it. Yes, because otherwise, I'm talking about fear and I'm terrified in this moment. But yeah, we can do this. Woo! Well, the first thing I want to ask you is, can you go back and try to remember your earliest memory of fear? What was that? I mean, try to go back to when you were 2, 3, 4 years old. I mean, who here was afraid of clowns? Raise your hand. Yeah. Who here was afraid of the dark? Right? Now, who here is still afraid of the dark? Yeah, a few of you, me too. So I'll tell you about my earliest memory of fear, which goes all the way back to when I was 3 years old, and I still remember how terrified I was to walk down the aisle, not as the bride, but as the flower girl, of course. You would assume that a 3-year-old girl would be delighted to wear a big white puffy dress just like the bride and throw petals everywhere, right? Not me. I was afraid to walk by myself and not be able to find my mom at the end of the aisle. So when I was 7 years old, 4 years after that picture was taken, my parents had a hunch that my shyness was not necessarily emotional. So they took me to the doctor and they found out that I couldn't see, like, at all. I needed glasses. For 7 years, they didn't realize this. Thank you, Mom. So for the longest time, my comfort zone was defined by a 10-foot radius circle that surrounded my mom or my dad. But the truth is that we all have a comfort zone, and we know it pretty well because we live there most of the times. We know exactly where it starts and where it ends, and they are unique to each individual, just like your personality or your body is. So the things that are uncomfortable to me may be things that you can easily do. For example, eating an oyster. Yeah, have you tried that? I did, and then I couldn't, so I had to spit it out. It was terrible. And then I had to try the same one because they're so expensive, right? Again and again. That was not pretty. And then doing things like slow rafting can also be pretty terrifying for some people, mostly when you're trying to take a selfie. But the good news, because there is some good news, is that comfort zones can change from one day to the other. They can expand as we face our fears or contract as we limit ourselves. And for the first 2.5 decades of my life, my comfort zone was shrinking by the minute. But you know what? It was okay for me because to me, life felt like a checklist that I had to go through according to society's expectations. Graduate from high school, check. Go to college, check. Find prestigious job, get married, buy a home, have kids, right? I was doing everything I was expected to until it hit me. Who am I checking these boxes for? Who am I truly living for? I mean, I see that my parents, my professors, my mentors, they're all certainly happy with my outcome, but am I? I can say that I'm comfortable, but can I say I'm genuinely happy? So a couple of years ago, I realized that I had two options. I could continue checking society's boxes like it was expected of me. I mean, I was already married. I just needed to buy a home, have kids, have grandkids, and die. Pretty good, right? 4 things left. Or I could have the courage to create my own set of things and pursue those as well. Move to New York, give a TED Talk, become an entrepreneur, travel the world, write a book, impact others. So I had to start somewhere, right? And moving to New York is something I've always wanted to do since I was very little, but I never really dared to until a couple of years ago when I decided to do a master's in branding at the School of Visual Arts. And that's when my life started to change. Where would you like to be 10 years from today? Have you thought about that? Kids, that's the question that my professor asked us on the first day of class, right? So she challenged me and the rest of the students to think about our perfect lives 10 years from that day. And at that moment, I knew that I was about to have a panic attack. I mean, who here has done something like this where you try to plan your life ahead? Have you done it? Yes? Okay, it's pretty scary, right? Because you want to dream big, but not too much. You want to sound ambitious, but humble. You start dreaming of a 150-foot yacht, and somewhere down the line, you settle for a freaking kayak. Right? You don't want to disappoint future you with big plans that went nowhere and then feel like a big failure. So I started to write down semi-ambitious things that I thought could make me happy 10 years from that day. And I wrote down things like, in 10 years, after working for some of the best companies in New York, I finally become an entrepreneur. I'm working with Adam, my husband, on building our business, whatever it is. But we travel a lot together for work, and we love it. We're being invited to speak at conferences and events about our accomplishments, and we're buying our first apartment in Manhattan. So I wrote my plan in April of 2015, and then this is what happened next. In July of that same year, I started my own movement. Then in October, I gave my first TEDx talk. And shortly after, I started receiving invitations to speak at schools, companies, events, and organizations around the world. Then in July of the following year, Adam joined me full-time on developing our business, and just a year later, we bought this beautiful apartment in Manhattan. Thank you. But I'm kidding, guys. This is not really my apartment. This is actually Taylor Swift's apartment. It's pretty awesome, right? And so for now, we just hang out there in her living room. No, so besides the apartment, I can say that I accomplished most of the things that I wrote down in a matter of months. And as far as the apartment goes, we actually did the opposite. We realized we didn't need a place because we were traveling so much from one event to the other, so we decided to live nomadic for a whole year, right? We put everything we own in a storage, and we were just traveling. So if you've never thought about planning your life ahead, I highly suggest that you think about it because it is extremely powerful. But as Jim Carrey says, you can't visualize things and then go eat a sandwich. You kind of need to prove to the universe how much you want the things you envision. And to do so, you need to get uncomfortable. So right after writing the plan in April of 2015, the professor asked us to identify one crucial obstacle that could get in the way of our dream life. And when I realized that fear was the one thing that could keep me from achieving my dreams, I embarked on a project that changed my life for good. It's called the 100-Day Project, and the idea is that you choose one thing that you want to do repeatedly for 100 days in a row. It can be anything as long as it's something that helps you grow or improve in some way. So think about it. If you would have to choose one thing to do repeatedly for 100 days in a row, what would it be? What is that thing that you would like to work on or improve? Because in my case, I decided to become a braver person. So I faced 100 fears in a period of 100 days and documented the entire process on YouTube. From the smallest things that were limiting my everyday life to fears I never thought I would be able to conquer.
Michelle Poehler decided that she was sick of living her life in fear of the unknown and the unexpected, so she decided to embrace it every day for 100 days. She's pledged to do something that scares her.
I'm here with Michelle Poehler in Times Square, New York City, where she is living 100 days without fear.
100 miedos en 100 días. Michelle decided to spend 100 days conquering her fears. 100 days. What I really believe that Michelle is experiencing is tapping into her inner strength that was there all along.
So if you thought that facing those fears was scary, uploading the videos to YouTube, that was a whole fear by itself. Think about it, right? YouTube can be so intimidating, but also it can be a pretty fascinating tool that can help us inspire, entertain, even teach something to someone from one side of the world to the other. And it was thanks to YouTube that my project resonated with millions. So imagine, it's day 40 of the project, I wake up, check my phone, and the first thing I see is my face all over the internet. Websites all over the world started sharing my story, my videos, my project, and that was pretty cool. It was not only websites, also celebrities started sharing this as well. Ashton Kutcher, Sofia Vergara, Zooey Deschanel, and for some reason, even the rapper Lil Wayne thought this was inspiring. He did. But this was not the best part. Shortly after this happened, I started to receive messages from people all over the world saying that thanks to my project, they were inspired to go after their own fears and change their lives. And that's something I was not expecting when I started this very personal project. I mean, I was not really trying to inspire anybody. I was just being terrified on camera. But reading all of those messages empowered me to go after much bigger fears. For example, my challenge number 95, jumping from a high cliff into the water. Picture this. For this challenge, I decided to rent a car, drive for 2 hours to a water park where I can safely face my fear without hitting a rock, because that was not the challenge that day, it was just jumping. So I went to the place, right? I went up the hill, there was a huge line, made the line, 30 minutes later, I'm there, I'm about to jump, and in that moment, I freeze. Ma'am, are you jumping or not? The lifeguard was pretty frustrated because there was this huge line of kids eager to run, jump, and make a splash, and there I was completely frozen. I kept telling my feet to jump, but they wouldn't listen. Have you ever felt like this, paralyzed by fear? Yeah, that's how I was feeling. And so the lifeguard came back and he was like, dude, even the little kids are jumping. I'm like, that's not helpful, thank you. But then a girl about this height, she came all the way to the front of the line and she was terrified, just like I was. But she was like shivering and having second thoughts, looking down, doing this. So I looked at her, she looked at me, we kind of looked at each other like, no way. She was like, no way. So we kind of agreed, right? I felt good about it. But then, a couple of seconds later, she jumped. What the heck, right? I thought we were not jumping together. So I got a little bit mad, but then I was so inspired because I thought, if she did it, why can't I, right? So I approached the edge one more time. The lifeguard rolled his eyes one more time. I looked down, the girl survived, which is good news for me. And what I did is I started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4 for some reason, and I jumped. And that day, I learned the important difference between fearless and brave. Brave is when, despite the fear, we have the courage to take action. And that is way more powerful and inspiring than being fearless. Because think about it, all those little kids jumping fearlessly, I couldn't relate to them, so I was not inspired by them, right? It was that girl who showed me her fear, and then she showed me her courage. That is exactly what inspired me to take action. And I learned a very valuable lesson about leadership that day, right? True leaders are not those who hide their fears or pretend to be fearless. True leaders are those who take action despite their fears, are those who lead by example, mostly when it's hard. And now this takes us to a really fun fear that I want to share with you, dancing in the middle of Times Square like no one's watching. But at first, this was terrifying because I was the only one listening to the music. So can you imagine my embarrassment for a second? I was dancing, being very self-aware of what everybody else is thinking. And then I started to really enjoy the music, the moment, the vibe, the place, everything. And that's when other people started to join me. And suddenly, this became a party in the middle of Times Square. And that night, I got to experience, for the first time in my life, what living life to the fullest feels like. Have you ever experienced that, living life to the fullest? Because I heard about it in songs, in movies, but I never actually experienced it myself until this day. And what I learned is that it only happens when we do the things we love like no one's watching. Do you like to paint? Paint like no one's watching. Do you like to play a sport? Try playing like no one's watching. Or do you like to sing? Sing like if you're the only one in the room, even if there's 100 people in front of you. Because when we do the things we do out of love and passion, and we forget that other people are watching us and judging us, we will not only do a better job at it, but we will enjoy the moment way more. And that night, I not only made new friends and realized how much I enjoy dancing, mostly in public, but I created one of the most memorable videos for my channel.
We're here at Times Square, a lot of people around me, and I'm going to dance like no one's watching. So I have my music here, I'm ready to go dancing. Let's do this.
Fear achieved.
So that's Chris. We're still friends. And if you're ever in New York and you want to do this, please call me. I would love to do it again. But now I'd like to share with you about the story of my last fear, right? Number 100. So for this last fear, I was approached by this big brand, 5 Gum. They wanted to sponsor the 100th fear. And my first reaction was to be excited and on board, obviously, right? Until I realized they wanted to have me rappel down from Rockefeller Center, that building in New York City. And I still consider it. I mean, this was a huge opportunity, right? My face was going to be everywhere, but then something deep down didn't feel right. Because I wanted my last challenge to go beyond a physical fear and have a more meaningful impact. So after much consideration, I decided to decline the brand's offer, and instead, I faced one of my biggest fears, public speaking. And I decided to do it at TEDx stage so I could share my story with the world and inspire hundreds of thousands to go after their fears. This decision not only marked the beginning of my speaking career, but it showed me the importance of going after the things that feel right in our hearts, not being carried away by what may seem more glamorous. So let me take you back to the day when I faced my 100th fear. So right there, my heart was beating so loud, I could almost hear it. Can you almost hear it? Yes, it was super loud. So at that point, the girl that is walking along with me, her only job was to make sure that I'm doing all right. But when she looks at me and smiles at me like, Michelle, let's do this, so excited, and I don't smile back, because I'm not excited, I'm terrified, I don't want to go on stage. She grabbed my shoulders and she was like, Michelle, sweetie, it'll be fine, I promise, you'll do awesome. Plus, think about it, what's the worst that could happen? Now, raise your hand if you've ever asked yourself or someone else this question before. Yeah? Worst question ever. I now had like 1,000 negative thoughts running through my head that were not there before. Because I thought, she's right, what's the worst that could happen? And then I'm like, wait, what if I freeze? What if I forget my speech? What if I embarrass myself? What if I don't know, disappoint my family who's in the audience, who traveled to Houston just for this event? What if I fail, right? That's the biggest fear. And that's when it hit me. How am I supposed to gather the courage that I need if I'm only considering the worst case scenarios? It was only when I decided to flip the question around and I asked myself, Michelle, what's the best that can happen? That's when I started to see the possibilities that were hiding behind my fears. And I thought, what if I do a good job? What if I enjoy it? What if I make myself proud, my family proud? What if I actually inspire people in the audience to take action? Suddenly, I felt no more fear, only excitement. And that's when I heard the presenter say, give it up for Michelle Pollard.
Today, right here, right now, I'm facing my 100th fear.
Face 100 fears. So, woo, right? Come on. So, you know, when I started this project, I thought that the end goal was to eliminate fear, get rid of it. But along the process, I realized that fear is our ally and it's there to keep us safe and alive. So we don't want to eliminate fear, right? But what I did is I decided to divide fear into 3 categories: universal, cultural, and personal fears. Turns out we're all born with a set of universal fears. So it doesn't matter where you're from or how old you are, you're probably afraid of either spiders, yep, needles, and the very popular fear of heights. So please raise your hand if you're afraid of one of these. And you should be, because they can totally kill you, right? So you have to be very careful when you face some of these fears and listen to your universal fears. But as we grow, we develop a series of cultural fears that revolve around our need for love and belonging, and these are the ones that are screwing us up big time. Because you know what? Society creates these fears, right, to make us behave in a certain way and shape our personality to fit its standards. The fear of not belonging, not fitting in, not being loved or accepted are dictating the majority of the choices we make and the way that we present ourselves to others. And I get it. Belonging can be amazing. It's what enables community, friendship, team building. But if we're not careful, our need to fit in may hurt our authenticity. And we live in a time where authenticity is one of the most valuable assets that anyone could have. And now this takes us to the last set of fears, the personal fears that are closely related to our self-esteem need. So in order to feel good about ourselves, we limit our growth. We hold ourselves back from taking risks, trying new things, or venturing into the unknown, because we know failing is a possibility, one that we don't want to be held accountable for. But after embracing this new lifestyle where daring is now my first choice, what I learned is that the enemy of success is not failure. It's actually comfort. Comfort is what keeps us from raising our hands to suggest the next big idea. It convinces us to look down at our phones instead of sparking a conversation with the person sitting next to us. Comfort begs us to watch one more YouTube video instead of creating our own. And it tells us things like, good things come to those who wait. But as Da Vinci put it, People of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. Which takes us to my day 101. The project finally ended, right? I already faced my 100th fear, delivered my speech. Now what? People started asking me, and I had no clue because I only planned this far, right? Day 1, day 100, that's it. So I thought about going back to my old job in advertising, right? But I kind of quit on YouTube, which was a really bad idea because I don't think they want to be back. But then Adam came and he was like, Michelle, what if you continue growing this movement, you turn it into something bigger, and then you make this your job? What if you could inspire people for a living? Suddenly, I started going through a roller coaster of emotions, and guys, I hate roller coasters. Yep, I don't like, oh, can you see how miserable I was, right? I was totally miserable. Adam was super happy, and then did you see that other guy? He was super happy, right? So yeah, I don't like roller coasters, so I was in between these two choices. And have you ever been in a situation where you are in between two things and the one you want the most is the scariest one? That's how I was feeling, right? So I was in between going back to my old job, which was a decision based on safety, fear, and comfort, and then growing or building my own movement, which was a decision based on growth and progress. Life will always give us options. Some will take us back into our comfort zones, others will challenge us but help us grow. The most important thing here is to identify which one is the growth option and choose that one, despite the fear that it may bring. In fact, that's the best way to tell them apart because most of the times, the growth option is the scariest one. What I learned is that the more uncomfortable we get, the greater the reward. It was only when I got really uncomfortable and decided to commit to this project full time that I started to see real impact. Something that started as a school project turned into my purpose, a social mission that is encouraging people all over the world to say hello to their fears. And I would love for you to be part of this movement.
Hey Michelle, my name is Marcin and I'm from Poland.
My name is Evelyn Lawrence.
Jason Silva. Hey, it's Chris Gillibo, and I'm from everywhere.
Panama.
Colorado.
Canada.
From Africa. I'm Dutch, but I live in the south of Spain.
I faced the fear of writing to a girl with whom I haven't spoken to for a very long time.
I faced my fear of
traveling solo, a 3-month trip.
Fear of rejection.
Like I'm not good enough.
Fear of birds. Skydiving.
Cliff diving.
Get this pixie haircut.
Dance like nobody's watching.
Starting over at 29 years old. Me against the world.
Volunteering abroad for 6 months.
I wanted to do something more meaningful and I switched career.
I faced my fear of leaving home,
of moving away from home.
Start from scratch for the second time.
I was deathly afraid of speaking in public.
Following my passion, pursuing my bliss, right? Living within the confines of my inspiration and somehow trusting that things will work out in the end.
The biggest fear that I faced is living alone, all by myself, with my own thoughts, and it's felt amazing.
It felt terrific.
Awesome. I feel passionate.
Beyond amazing.
And I feel free. So fulfilled.
Felt so satisfying.
I have done more living in the last 3 years than I have in 33.
Came home and felt more like myself than I have in a really long time.
I feel so good now.
I'm so grateful because my husband and children helped me cross that bridge.
And how I've felt since? Fantastic.
I learned to love myself as I am.
Now it's time for my big fears.
Yay! Thank you. So, do you guys remember this slide, right? We could say that I moved to New York, gave a TEDx talk, became an entrepreneur, which allowed me to travel the world, impact others, and officially, as of this week,
we have a Hello Fierce book available for pre-order on Amazon. Yay! Right? So this was a huge growth move for me. I'm not a writer. English is not even my first language, so this was really challenging, but I'm so glad I did it. And you know why this is so important for you to see? Because do you know what this means? I checked all my boxes. It means I need to write new ones. So guys, we both have homework to do, because that's what I want you to do next. I want you to write your own boxes, right? Start thinking, what are the things that you care so much about that you're willing to get uncomfortable to make them happen, right? What are things that you would put on your box? Not your parents' box or society's box, but your boxes, the things that you want to accomplish. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I already started writing mine. Are you guys going to help me get there? Yes! It's pretty crazy. We have so many people in this room that actually, if everybody buys the book today, we literally check that box. And that I would remember this event as the most epic event of my life if that happens. So I was thinking, what can I give you as a gift if you help me check my box, right? Achieve my goals. So I thought about doing this video, and I did it for you. And I'm telling you, explaining how to do your own 100-day project and crush it. So everything I did that worked out, what didn't work, and how to actually, do it, have some impact, go viral if you want. So if you want to have access to this exclusive video, you have to help me check that box. And also, I'm going to give away 2 tickets from your hometown to New York City by plane to one person that pre-orders the book today. So if you want to win that and help me check my box, all you have to do is take your phone out. And for now, just text the word FFA 2019 to the number 44222. It will ask for your email, and then it will tell you how to go from there. So I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Text that, put your email, and yes, let's do this. I'll stand here awkwardly for 30 seconds, and I'll dance for you. Woo! All right, so I hope that was enough time. If not, make sure to take a picture of the slide, and you have until tomorrow at noon to do it. Be part of this, and I will announce the winner over Instagram pretty soon. So now, because we had no chance to dance at the beginning, and I wanted to really see your moves, so now you all have to stand up. Come on. You have to show me your best move. FFA, we need to bring the house down. Are you ready? Let's do this. Woo! Thank you. Ooh.
Ms. Poehler, thank you for joining us here at the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. We appreciate your dedication in the fight against fear, and we're excited to be joining that battle with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Michelle Poehler.
Oh, thank you so much. Wait. Thank you.
All this talk about abstract sports tonight has me thinking, where did they come from? I mean, some of them are pretty far out there, but I guess someone had an idea, and it turned into an event that others wanted to be a part of. I will admit, the abstract sports we talked about tonight were pretty odd, but they all bring people together just like this convention. See what I did there? See what I did there? Yeah. Thanks, California. Texas. Are you going to let them out, do you? We can all agree the West is best. So abstract sports and the FFA give people an outlet to express themselves. They give them access to new information, and they let them live life in a more enjoyable way. All in all, abstract sports and FFA make people's lives better. Make sure to join us here, right back here, tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. I know it's early, but we got to celebrate the success of over 4,000 FFA members receiving their American FFA degrees. And then after that session, we'll meet right back here for the 8th and final session of the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. Man, California is on one. During that session, we will award Career Development Event finalists, say farewell to our National FFA Advisor, Dr. Steve Brown, and meet the next National Officer team. FFA members, we are the future. The world is ours for the making. We are empowered to overcome the challenges that we face, whatever our passion is. Whether it's an abstract sport that your mom's never heard of, or making big strides in our supervised agricultural experiences, we can make change. We can solve big problems like feeding a rapidly growing world. We can tackle the injustices we see in our communities, and we can help a friend. Let's be a generation of leaders who change the world.
Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this session of the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this session adjourned.